Passwords and keys. While it might seem like a long shot, weak password storage and password reuse can be easy ways to escalate privileges. While the root user's account password is hashed and stored securely in /etc/shadow, other passwords, such as those for services, may be stored in plain text in config files. If the root user reused their password for a service, that password may be found and used to switch to the root user. History files record commands issued by users while they are using certain programs. If a user types a password as part of a command, this password may get stored in a history file. It is always a good idea to try switching to the root user with a discovered password. If I run ls-a in my home directory, we can see there are a few files ending in _history. These are files that record commands our user has entered into various programs. We can view the contents of these files by running the cat command. From this output, it seems that our user tried to connect to a MySQL server as root using the password password123. This password might be reused for the root account on the Debian VM too. So let's try to switch to the root user using the su command. And I'm just going to type password123 and we get a root shell. Many services and programs use configuration or config files to store settings. If a service needs to authenticate to something, it might store the credentials in a config file. If these config files are accessible and the passwords they store are reused by privileged users, we may be able to use it to log in as that user. If we use the ls command to view the contents of our user's home directory, we see there is an OpenVPN config file. If we view the contents of this file, we can see there is an auth user pass option configured with a file name /etc/openvpn/auth.txt. The auth user pass option tells OpenVPN to get the VPN credentials from a file. If we view the contents of this file, we can see that the user is root and the password is password123. Let's try reusing this password on the Debian VM using the su command. Once again, we have a root shell. SSH keys can be used instead of passwords to authenticate users using SSH. SSH keys come in pairs, one private key and one public key. The private key should always be kept secret. If a user has stored their private key insecurely, anyone who can read the key may be able to log in to their account using it.